Hi. In lesson 2 we're getting straight back into it. We're using the same project, but this time we're learning some new functions and controls. So firstly we're going to use an input box. Now, as I said before, it's a bit unfair to give the sales reps a zero commission rate, so instead we're going to ask the user for the value at runtime. So how do we do that? But why don't we use an input box? So an input box is a interaction that has a prompt, so the question that you want to ask the user, and some optional arguments such as a title, response and position. We'll use them in future lessons. For now we just want to ask the question, so we're going to say unknown sales rep, enter commission rate. So now if we run, the app should compile, pop up on the screen. I'll drag it over and we shall try with Mike first, and as we can see it's still setting the 5%, but if I pick myself and say calculate, it's going to jump past all of the if-else ifs, come to our else statement, and because it's unknown, it's asking now the question. So I'm going to give myself a nice 10% commission rate because I can, and as you can see it's popped that into the commission rate box and set the commission calculation to $10. So that's a way of getting a value from a user at runtime and setting, still using it within our calculation below. Now this is great, but maybe the users of the application don't know the different salespeople in the company. So instead of asking them for a value to type in, we can use a new control. So we'll go back to the toolbox and we'll scroll down to the combo box and we'll click on that and move it over in line. So we've deleted the text box that used to be used for sales rep. We've added in a new control, the combo box, and we'll want to change that combo box name to sales rep. So if we go to the properties again, click on the control, combo box isn't a great name, we'll change that to sales rep, and we'll now need to fill this combo box with values. Now in VB6 there was a list property that would fill the list of items, but in VB.NET and .NET the control has an items property which is a collection, and we'll fill in the names we had before, so Mike, Sue, Joe. We'll click OK, and then if we run the application it'll start building like before. Skip anything it doesn't need to worry about and it'll pop up on the screen. So as you can see, instead of like a text box, we have a combo box or a drop down. We can pick Mike, we'll put in the sales amount and it'll calculate 5%. Sue will get 6% and Joe will get 7%. So that's great. We're now able to pre-populate a list at design time with our sales reps, and it's still using the code correctly. It's checking against the value of the sales rep text property, and it's able to still calculate the commission. Now in VB6 you could then save the form and it would pop up and ask you for a name on the form, but because we've done this with the add new, it's defaulted to form 1, so we're going to ask to rename this. So if you right click on the form and click rename or press F2, you can call this the same as the project, so the commission calculator. You press enter and you can see that you rename a file. Would you like to rename all the references as well? So I'm going to say yes. You'll see that it's renamed the files underneath as well, the designer and the resx file that holds resources that we can get into in another lesson. So we'll save that, we'll close it. But if we try and run the calculator now, you might get an error. It basically says that form 1 is not accessible. Now if you double click on that, it'll take us to the application designer, which is something we wouldn't normally want to play about with. But here we are allowed, we're going to ask for the main form is called commission calculator. So close that, rerun it, it'll rebuild, and then hopefully this time the form won't error and we can use it as we have throughout the lesson. And yeah, that's it for lesson 2. Join me for lesson 3 next. Thanks very much.